It's normal for anyone to get nervous on their wedding day, and I'm sure Harry was no different. But you'll be surprised how it was William the one that showed actual panic signals and could not hide them. In this video you'll discover exactly where to look when you want to spot clues of distress, fear or anxiety. Maybe William already knew that it was going to be a bumpy ride. Welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and it would be great if you join us by just liking this video, subscribing and hitting that bell. Let's get down to it. The first glimpse we got from that day is the brothers stepping out of the van. As usual, it always helps to just have a look at their walking stride, posture and general attitude. But this time I want you to really lock in William's body language and see if you can spot something odd. Well, William is walking one step behind his brother because obviously Harry is the protagonist of that day. That's one of the reasons you might see them out of sync, so we can just discard that. William sometimes lowers his gaze and doesn't greet the public as frequently as Harry. Maybe the reason is the same. He wants to go unnoticed because he's there for his brother. Now there's a bit of stiffness to William's gait, and that's when I found this clip interesting. It could not be nervousness for being in public, since up to this point William must have had thousands of hours in public engagements, so this shouldn't be a big deal for him. But then I paid a little more attention and noticed that he releases stress with his right hand no less than 5 times. That's a gesture that has many variations, but in this case William is doing one very standard, stretching his fingers and releasing them. Basically, tensing any muscle and then relaxing helps relax the body, and I think that's exactly what he was doing here. There's the possibility that he found the gloves uncomfortable and that's why he was doing that with his hand. But again, they were going to take off the gloves upon entering the cathedral and they were less than 30 seconds away from doing so. And why do it with just his right hand? But I've told you before that you need more than just one signal to reach a conclusion. But you must also be aware that if you see a single signal that is repeated again and again, it has more and more body language weight with every repetition. So this is the kind of gesture that should not be overlooked. The next clip is very simple but very dynamic. You're gonna watch a short exchange between them, and as usual, you're not going to hear any words. Just pay attention to the way they play with the space between them. In this very short clip, you can see how they take turns to lean into each other so they can share with some privacy whatever they were saying at the time. It's like you have a mirror between them and their head and body movements have the same weight, the same intensity and even the same head angles. This is just a very short clip, but in most of their interactions in Harry's wedding, you will notice that they had a very good relationship up to this point. And you can tell just by the fact of how William mirrors Harry. So up till now, we've seen William's attitude when he's interacting with his brother. What could happen if the camera catches William's facial expressions when Harry is not looking? Let's check it out. Now, a lot happened on this clip, but what is most relevant is that we saw a totally different William when he was looking away from Harry. In other words, when Harry could not see his face. This is something very interesting to pay attention to. When you see that two people are talking together and they are getting along really nice, and the moment that they break eye contact, you see a change in facial expression in one of them. Well, in this case, it was not as dramatic as that video of Melania, but still. By the way, you can refine your observation skills with my 100 body language tips right in the description of this video. We see a change in William's expression when he turns away from Harry, and the change is not positive. Let's review all those signals. At first, I thought that Harry was pointing with his chin at someone so William would turn around and greet them, or at least acknowledge their presence. But when William turns around, there's no nonverbal signal of greeting. That could be a downward nod or an upward nod, raising eyebrows or smile, nothing. So Harry was just talking casually about something or someone in the opposite direction, and then William turned around. But then you can clearly see that William is clenching his jaw. It's easy to see the muscles tense and how he presses and releases them. It's the same pressing and release of the hand before entering the cathedral. Just two signals so far, but two signals that are related. Stress release. Again, this can be any kind of muscle that someone tenses and relaxes. Could be the hands, or raising the toes of one foot, the neck, or even the lips. But William not only clenches his jaw, he also swallows hard at the same time. It's really difficult to see, but if you play it in slow motion, you can spot his Adam's apple jumping. And so we keep stacking signals of being anxious or nervous. And speaking of tension, there is yet another signal less than a second later, that is pressing the lips. He presses his lips and purses them to one side. He also moves his eyes in Harry's general direction. Usually when you are relaxed, you have no problem in moving your head and moving your eyes at the same time. But when you use just your eyes to look to one side, it could be a very subtle signal of nervousness or being uncomfortable, or try not to draw much attention towards you. Because you don't want people to look at you moving too much, so you use your eyes to look around you. One of the best examples of this is the movie Glengarry Glen Ross, when Ed Harris looks at Alan Arkin. Harris' character is more confident, while Arkin tries to not draw much attention to himself. And in just 2 seconds, with the difference of their heads, they convey both personalities. Harris turns around his head and his eyes at the same time. Arkin just turns his eyes. Those are the small details that really bring meaning in body language. There's also the fact that William's left eyebrow was tense right as he was turning away from Harry. One area of his head was tense, and it was precisely the one further away from his brother. Again, like trying to hide his emotions. This is the kind of clips that you can watch over and over again, and in just 5 seconds you can spot a handful of signals that can help you reach solid conclusions. But the richness of body language lies in the possibility of comparing body, voice, facial, and even dress code signals to have a better profile of what's going on with the person. Maybe William was already afraid that this was not going to be an easy ride for Harry. I'd love to read your opinion in the comments. If you want to support my channel and help me make more videos, all you have to do is like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss any of my body language analysis and tips. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas, and I'll see you soon, my body language buddies.